The Empress used to be classed as one of, if not the best killer in the game. But now she's regarded as one of the weakest. What happened? A big reason why she's just a lot weaker and considered not as good is due to the fact that the game's pacing has increased. Everything is much faster. Killers are much faster in terms of walk speed, vault speed, and a lot of killer cooldowns are either a lot shorter or they have more cooldowns. Why is that? Because of the rage abilities. Rage abilities have significantly helped killers and just increased the pace of how killers play, and yet the Empress finds herself having the worst rage ability. However, I find that kind of understandable, as in my opinion, the Empress has the most well-rounded kit, and as a whole, the best kit. I'm not gonna lie when I say that. I truly feel like her kit is incredibly good. I already made a video about that. Why do I think this? Well, for starters, she has a small bit of movement. Not very good movement, granted. However, movement. She has the anti-chase, which is, I mean, sometimes it can often be difficult to hit, but it's okay. Good anti-chase. And then she also has gen pressure, which is also map pressure. All three things are really needed for a killer, and a killer who's going to be considered as top, right? However, her big issue is her egregiously long cooldown. I think it's a bit glitched right now, as if you do end up hitting a survivor with your rage ability active, you get the 70-second cooldown, so it might be a bit glitch. It is a bit glitched. However, even the thought of a 70-second cooldown being her only cooldown, I mean, obviously her rage ability is technically a cooldown, but her only cooldown is incredibly, like, bad. It's wild. If you take a look at the newer killers, you'll see that, like the False Goddess, only a 30-second cooldown on an ability which I would arguably say is a little tiny bit weaker than the Empress's. It is a really good ability. And a 30-second cooldown at that is insane. The hacker has a short cooldown down as well, all the way down to 25 seconds. That is insane. Incredibly good. The idol's new cooldown is only 30 seconds. All these cooldowns for these killers, which are especially the newer killers, are really short. But then you've got a killer like the Empress, who has one cooldown, and that one cooldown is at 70 seconds, and it's going to be at 70 seconds most of the game, because hitting it can genuinely be pretty difficult due to the long wind up and due to the fact that she doesn't actually get that much speed. A plus 2.1 speed increase to her ability is not that good. It is not that good. In general, I would say that would be better as just like a general buff to her. I don't think it's worth having it as a rage ability. In fact, you get the rage ability every single time you get a new ability. It's basically just a generic buff to her. It's not anything interesting. It's not anything good. It doesn't help her at all. And again, I don't think she needs a rage ability. The one thing I truly think she needs, and she would benefit heavily from, is a massive buff to her cooldown. I would go as far as saying her cooldown should only be 40 seconds, but that might be a bit too much. I mean, get rid of the halved, right? Get rid of the halved. If hit, does it even do that anymore? I don't think, maybe it doesn't. Anyways, I say 40-second cooldown, because yes, her ability can be very good. However, it's even more countered by the fact that just vault and you're fine. It's even more punishing because she has a little bit of downtime where she can't do anything, so she doesn't get like any effect after they vault like someone like the False Goddess would, or someone like the Unforgotten, or literally anyone else. She gets heavily countered by that. When I say I don't think she needs a rage ability, I also generally think that the devs know that as well. Her rage ability, very mid, right? But then you look at a character who suffered a lot in Daybreak 2. Arguably, in my opinion, dare I say, the worst character in the game. No, maybe I'm going a bit too far. However, he was awful. Genuinely awful. He got a really good rage ability. There's not really any counter to it, which isn't... I'm not a massive fan of that. However, it's fine. I can deal with it. It's fine. Point being, he got a really good rage ability, which helped fix the problems what he was finding. He has a lot of problems, right? He doesn't have good gen pressure or map pressure, but he didn't also he also didn't have really good chase at all. He has the worst lunge right at the beginning. Adding this rage ability helped everything with him. It helps him just like actually be a competent character, and you could say that for a lot of other killers. A lot of like Staria had a problem with if they used it but then you teleported or didn't teleport, then that was it. It didn't really do anything because the killer could still run away, and even if you teleported, could still run away and just vault. So having the rage ability just be that, the slow in the small range, is very good. It really helped him. The Rocketeer, she wasn't obviously in Daybreak 2. However, this ability completely counters her one counter. Running around a bloody mall, high-walled tent or car or something. That's what her counter was. And placing that down, it forces them to evacuate, go somewhere else, come back. These rage abilities focus on a character's weakness, apart from a few. There's a few, like the Ghost, doesn't really focus on a weakness. However, most of these rage abilities focus on the character's weakness. But what is the Empress's weakness? Her long, egregious cooldown? Yeah, but what else? Nothing else. She doesn't need a buff anywhere else in her kit. As in, what I mean is she didn't need like a specific ability to buff a part which she was falling off at. She wasn't falling off for any part apart from movement. Okay, arguably her rage ability does address her one issue, which is her dash being kind of slow. So maybe I'm a bit wrong, right? But what I mean is she didn't have any glaring, massive, detrimental issue like many other killers do. Like Surgeon, big issue, right? He had that big issue. Android, big issue where he couldn't chase people. He got a chasing rage ability. You see what I mean? These other killers got these things which counter their big, massive issues. Empress doesn't have a big, massive issue because she's very well-rounded. She just doesn't have a good cooldown. Her cooldown is horrendous. And because of that, and because of how the game pace has just, all the way up there, that 70-second cooldown feels even longer. Because now that generators feel like they go faster, I'm pretty sure they do go faster. Because of perfect skill checks, obviously. But now that generators go faster, she falls behind. She gets gen rushed pretty heavy, and this here, checkmate, ends up being kind of useless. Progress speed doesn't affect, I'm pretty sure it doesn't affect the perfect skill checks. And perfect skill checks are pretty strong. So she just lacks that pressure she had before, and I don't think checkmate, hello, I can't speak. I don't think it necessarily needs to be buffed at all. I think it's fine. I think it's completely fine. However, her ability shot does. I just think it needs a shorter cooldown. I think that'd be fine. Even a 50-second cooldown would be fine in my opinion. Like 50 seconds, yeah, that's still a hefty amount of time, but 50 seconds would not be an awful time. 50 seconds would be okay. 50 seconds would not be terrible. Also, looking on it at the survivor side as well, the Empress isn't too complicated to counter. I mean, just if you're gonna just check way out, see when the Empress is gonna use her dash. Make sure you don't use all of your stamina, and when they do dash, prepare to vault, and you're fine. You're often not gonna find an issue in that. Now, they obviously want to push the rage abilities a lot more, and obviously people are going to want her to actually have a good rage ability, and I'm not obviously opposed to that. However, I just truly think that a rage ability would be so unnecessary. She's had her time to shine, right? She was the second best killer subjectively. She was subjectively the second best killer in Daybreak 2. She's had a time to shine. However, that doesn't mean she can't have another time to shine. Well, I think that maybe a 40-second cooldown or 50-second cooldown could potentially be too strong. I'm joking. I don't think he'd be too strong. I really don't think he'd be too strong. But if you don't want to go that route, you could switch up the ability. Like, not switch it up, make it stronger, make it faster, give you more, like, a less of a wind-up. There's many things you can do to make her ability fit and catch up with the pacing of the game. Or you could just go ahead and add another, give her a rage ability which is actually worthwhile. Please don't. I mean, like, do. Also, don't neglect the rest of her kit. Like, first, I would say first start off by buffing the rest of her kit. The rage ability does not matter. Buff the rest of her kit, please. Even a 35-second cooldown is quite a long time if you do hit. And you don't even get the 35-second cooldown on the hit if you use her rage ability. So you are pretty much always going to have a 70-second cooldown, or you're not going to use a rage ability, which also leaves you behind from all the other killers in the game. Every other killer has a rage ability, and yet you choose to not use yours. Granted, it's bad, but it also severely debuffs you. Like, it gives you the 10% speed boost, which is awful. 2.1%, 2.1 plus speed is not good. That, or you just, you know, have a you 70-second cooldown the whole game. And even if you don't use it, the fact that, like, you are kind of slow, not gonna lie. Like, you're both slow, but you're also not. Hitboxes are still atrocious, right? And yeah, she's gonna be behind if she doesn't get a better rage ability. But honestly, I just think if you buff the parts of her kit which genuinely need buffing first, which her cooldown obviously is one thing what needs buffing, but I guess buff her rage ability as well. 10% speed, not very good. Maybe even make it a separate cooldown dash. Make it another dash on top of a already existing dash. That would be a bit. She doesn't really need 2 dashes. She needs a shorter dash cooldown. That's what I'm gonna say. She needs a shorter dash cooldown. Well, what do you think she could do with a better rage ability? Objectively, yeah. The same what I said, a shorter cooldown, a way shorter cooldown. Yeah. Or maybe she could do with something completely different. If you want to say it, go ahead, say it. I don't mind. I'd love to hear it. Or don't, because maybe you don't care.